Now, an MVP is a minimum viable product, and you use them to both validate that your product is one that your customers want, as well as to introduce functionality slowly in a staged way so that you can test your way to success. Let's talk about different types of MVPs that you can use to do just that. So the first and most popular is a landing page. Your landing page is your digital real estate, and it's a place for visitors to go to learn more about your product or service. Now, it's really great when you want to do something very quickly that helps you validate that your idea is a good one and that there's actually customers that are interested. So in this case, what you would do is simply set up a landing page using one of the many landing page builders that exist, put your value proposition on the page, and start to direct traffic to the site. Over time, you should have some type of objective on that landing page, whether it's capturing email addresses or getting customers to download. And by measuring that, you're able to see if your customer is really interested in what you're offering. It's the first step on the way to actually building something and giving them an experience that they love. Now, here's a great example of a landing page MVP. So Magic was a personal concierge startup, and they didn't have any experience built out, but they really knew that for what they wanted to do, because it would kind of be expensive to run, they had to first validate for investors that it was something that they could actually build a huge customer base with. And so they set up a landing page where they put their value prop out there, told customers that their goal was really to give them anything their heart desired in minutes, like magic, hence their name. Now, by doing that, over a period of 6 months, they had over 60,000 signups, all on the wait list. They didn't even have an experience yet. And so they used that interest to go to investors and get funding to build their first iteration of an experience. Now, a single feature MVP looks at all the different product or services that you could offer, and then chooses one, oftentimes the most risky or the most important to validate, and test that with customers to see if they're interested before scaling to other features. So you get to focus on solving one very specific, small, sometimes problem, which is great. And once you've done that, you can then start to scale out your operations to look at other problem spaces that your customers might be interested in you solving. Now, product demos are really cool because they allow you to actually show and demonstrate to your customer what the experience would be like to use your product or service. So it's really great if you want to build a working MVP, but it isn't exactly cheap. And so you want to show the experience in all its glory, but you don't necessarily have the time or the funds to build it. You also don't necessarily have to have the product clearly defined at this stage. So a product demo is really great because you can show one path in the experience and have that be compelling enough that you don't really have to flesh out all of the different features to get customers interested. Now, the way that you would do this is by doing a screencast of someone actually using an experience or creating mock-ups and showing someone actually clicking through that experience. It's just enough to illustrate how your product or service would work and if your customer would be interested in that experience. Now, Dropbox did this famously when they first launched. They knew that they couldn't build out their whole experience in time for investors, but they did need to prove that there was value there. And so they built a product demo video that showed someone actually using the service, but instead of it being a real product behind the video, it was just a series of screenshots. That video alone amassed thousands upon thousands of views, and it was enough for investors to feel confident that what they were going to build would create value and revenue for them. Now, the Wizard of Oz is an interesting one. This is a strategy where you create a front end that looks exactly like what you want your experience to be, but it functions manually behind the scenes. So this is really great when you don't necessarily have the funds to build a full end-to-end experience, but you do think you can deliver value in manual ways until you're ready to do that. Now, it's really important that your customer believe that they're actually getting this full front-end experience. And the way that you would do that is first mapping out what is your intended end-to-end experience for the customer from a digital standpoint. And then behind the scenes, how can you solve for that experience manually? It's a really great tool to validate something quickly and easily, and also allows you to kind of flesh out what the customer experience is and map out what you would actually need to build for your customer. And then similar to the Wizard of Oz experience, you have the Concierge experience. And this is where your experience is fully manual. Now, it's really great when you're building a working MVP, but it's difficult or expensive, and so you want to first try out if there's actually value in what you're trying to do. Now, Blue Apron is a really great example of this. They started by going into grocery stores, taking customers that were going shopping and saying, hey, give us your list, we will buy your products for you on your behalf, and we will deliver them to your home. They did this all manually with a series of, or a workforce, I should say, of people that would go into grocery stores and actually do this and visit with the user after they'd done it and deliver the packages. Then over time, they slowly started to automate the process and took the people in the process out of it altogether. So it's a great way to start. It's something that you can do quick because it's in your control. And then over time, you can start to see where you can invest your funds first so you can keep some things manual and automate the rest.